The Dodgers make some minor league signings. We'll talk about that. Could they be sneaky good? Also, Kiké Hernandez was almost suspended during the Dodgers World Series run. All that more coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You guys ready to parade? We got a parade. The Dodgers push back and head to the championship. Shohei Ohtani starts the 50-50 club. Milky Magic. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone. Start the party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to another episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. Everything you need to know about your boys in blue in less than an hour. My name is Doug McKain, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. And if you haven't yet, what are you doing? Join the movement. Subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel, the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel in the game. This is the #1 Dodgers show on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. If you really want to support the channel, hit that like button. And when you are subscribed, you're eligible for all of our giveaways too. You know about everything that's going on here, so be sure to do that. And then most importantly, I want to hear from you down below in the comment section on all your comments and all of today's topics. Kiké Hernandez almost getting suspended. Got an update on Walker Buehler. Will he be back with the Dodgers? What do you think about these new signings? Let me know down below. But of course, every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with the Dodgers Dugout poll question of the show. And I asked you guys over on the X, do you think that the Dodgers will re-sign World Series hero Walker bleepin' Buehler? And right now, 37% say yes and 63% say no. So, interesting. I thought that would be higher. Seems like a lot of Dodgers fans are coming to grips with the fact that Walker Buehler could be in another team's uniform next season. But of course, every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with the leadoff.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So the hottest story in Dodger baseball today is that Kiké Hernandez, the Banana Man, the postseason hero for the Dodgers, was almost suspended after his comments to Ken Rosenthal. Of course, you remember it was legendary. Are we live? Ken Rosenthal asked him, what's the difference about this team? And he's really gave a nice long pause, thought about it, and said the fact that we don't give an F. Well, he did an interview with the Shop that dropped yesterday, and he talked about that F-bomb and how he was almost suspended during the postseason.
I was going to get an even heftier fine, and I was going to get a game suspension. Having a good agent and having a good player union came in handy. They got rid of the suspension, and they got to lower down the fine a little bit, which was good. I did have to apologize, which you could say 50-50 on the honesty part of it. What I answered was my honest answer from the bottom of my heart, and I didn't think there was any other way of describing the team. And I felt like I had already taken a while to think about my answer because I didn't want to answer it that way. But
hold up. Did he just say that he almost got suspended for something that he said for dropping an F-bomb, a suspension? So you mean to tell me that Kiké Hernandez was about to get a stiffer penalty for dropping an F-bomb in a post-game interview than the entire Astros organization got for cheating to steal the 2017 World Series? You mean to tell me that he was going to get a stiffer penalty than what Gurriel got for a racist gesture he made during the 2017 World Series? How is that even possible? That made no sense to me at all whatsoever. And I did love what he said there. What he said, I did apologize. You could say 50-50 on the honesty of it. So not only was it we don't give a F we still don't give a F for Kiké Hernandez. So, look, I think the intensity of his response there, kind of the mindset, the mantra that really kind of encapsulated what was different about the 2024 Dodgers was the fact that, look, they're going to go out there, they're going to play their game, they're going to fight, they're not going to play tighter when they get down. They're going to go out there and not listen to the noise, and they're going to perform on the highest level. So that was pretty wild. Yes, of course, you have the FCC involved, and using profanity on broadcast television does come with a stiff penalty to it. I don't think Major League Baseball or Fox would have lost money for it. But I mean, like, if I get the fine, look, it's kind of one of those things. It's you kind of, you have a kid and then that kid starts dropping the F-bomb and you're like, oh, wait a minute, where'd they learn that? They learned that from the parents. So you get the swear jar going, right? I get the fine, right? Kiké put some money in the swear jar. I'm fine with that. But a suspension, that is absolutely out of line to even consider that in the least. That's just ridiculous. So good thing he didn't get suspended, because had he got suspended, I mean, that definitely could have hurt some of the momentum that the Dodgers had coming off that big Game 5 win. And Kiké also did say he wants to come back. He's made it very clear. And I don't think that Dodgers players being open about wanting to be Dodgers still is doing anything to compromise any leverage they have in negotiations to be back with this team, whether it be Teoscar Hernandez, whether it be Walker Buehler, Jack Flaherty, whether it be Kiké Hernandez. Look, they're just saying what everyone knows. They're just stating the obvious. I mean, what player out there wouldn't want to come back to the model organization that is winning championships? They are guaranteed a postseason appearance, and they're going to put you in the best spot to have success. So that's no surprise to me. When will they get a deal done with Kiké? It's coming. It'll be after, I think, they take care of business with Teoscar Hernandez one way or the other, where they take care of business with Tanner Scott one way or the other. But really, I think my big four right now, as far as what they need to do to tie a bow on what's already been an excellent offseason so far, coming off a World Series win: re-sign Teoscar Hernandez 1, sign Tanner Scott 2, 3, get Roki Sasaki, and 4, bring back Kiké Hernandez. I've kind of accepted Walker Buehler and his fate with this team after signing Blake Snell. If he comes back, great, and we'll talk about a team that he could go to that Dodgers would not like in a couple seconds here. But you give me those 4 back, and this team is running it back, and they're going to be in a great position to defend their title and be the first team to go back-to-back since the 2000 Yankees. But he's perfect fit for this team. I mean, you look at what Kiké Hernandez can do. Not only does he bring that positional versatility that this organization covets, look what he did last season when Max Muncy went down. Played a great third base, got the bat right. And we can play in the outfield too. You can throw him in the corner outfield spots. Tommy Edman, if Tommy Edman needs a day off, you can put him in there. Tommy Edman, he's a switch hitter. He's better against righties. So if he's better as a right-handed bat, right? So if you have Kiké can have success against righties and lefties. You can have him at second too, platooning with Gavin Lux, give him a start against a lefty. So he got the positional versatility that you need. So he has to be back. There's no doubt about it. I think financially, he realizes that, look, he already saw what happened after 2020. After 2020, it was about, okay, which team is going to give me an opportunity to be an everyday player and get 500 plate appearances? I want to see what that looks like. He knows what that looks like, and he knows that that's not where he's best optimized. So he's got to be back in a big way, and I fully expect him to be back in Dodger blue. But yeah, by the way, plug, hey, that we don't give a F moment continues to grow in lore. Go to gearup.la, pick up the WDGAF t-shirt. I'm gonna give Antonio a big low 4 belt bump when they announce the signing of Kiké Hernandez. But Antonio, I mean, where are you at with Kiké? And first of all, this is someone we need to have back, but just as far as him as a player, I mean, the versatility that he brings, the clutch moments in the postseason, it's tough to find that on the open market.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to love Kiké's versatility on the field, infield, outfield. Everybody knows here, but it's undeniable. It's the vibes that Kiké brings. And, you know, he might not play every day, but he's in the dugout every day. And the Dodgers just love having him there. And as a fan, obviously, everybody here in the office loves him. And I hope they get a deal done soon.
What do you think about the suspension? I mean, come on now. Like, you worked in TV, right? I mean, you get the delay. Just give him the bleep.
It's just, man, it's all Manfred, bro. I don't even want to talk about that TV. It's just whack. I'm glad he didn't, but like you mentioned, you touched it on earlier, but it's just whack, bro.
Yeah, how about Noel? I mean, what do you think about this?
I think it's pretty ridiculous. I mean, we've seen a lot worse go down on national TV, and like you said, the penalties were a lot looser. So I'm glad that not only his agent, but also the players union stood up for him in the middle. I mean, I can't imagine not having a game of October baseball without Kiké Hernandez out there. That would have, you know, tarnished his legacy. So you can't do that to him. But like he said, he hinted at the fact that he really wasn't too sorry about it because it lit a fire under the team. And really not just the team, but the whole community took on that mentality the entire month, the entire World Series run. So I always think that to win a title, it's the little things that matter. And I think that was one of those things that needed to happen for this team to actually get over the hump and get something done.
Totally, 100%. I mean, I think with Kiké, what he brings to this team goes beyond what he does on the field. We talked about it a lot yesterday. But yeah, I mean, that would have really stifled a lot of momentum. Could have brought them together too, kind of this Dodgers against the world mentality. But had he been suspended, there would have been a riot. And I like someone in the comments says we don't give a F Kiké mural. I like that. It's a fire take right there. Going to give you some love for that. We got Mr. Classic. Come on, D-Mac. Hey, look, I will tell you that the Dodgers definitely want Kiké back. Kiké wants the Dodgers back. And you have to look at where the roster is right now. And the reason why you're not going to see a Kiké signing right now is because you have 39 guys on that 40-man roster. You want to get closer to February, closer to when pitchers and catchers report, then you'll see Clayton Kershaw sign. He'll go on the 60-day IL, and you'll open some roster spots up. So really, it's about roster flexibility. And what I was told about Kiké Hernandez is once kind of the other big boys kind of sign and go off the table, then you'll start to see contract negotiations pick up about bringing him back. But yeah, he's going to be back in LA. I'm very confident in saying that. We got a $5 super chat. Sign Teo. That's all I can say. Carry on. Give you a nice little let's go Dodgers. I'll give you a nice little let's give you that one says there we go. Give you a nice little let's go Dodgers. For that we got Martin Troop, WDGAF, Ether. Okay, we got Jason 50-50 LOL. I know that was just such a great comment right there. He's like 50-50. I think it was more like 90-10. I think it was more like 99% 1%. That was basically, hey, my agent, my PR people prepared something for me to say, and they said, hey, you got to say that. So you got to love that about Kiké, man. He's someone that's always going to speak his mind. He's not afraid to take a fight, not afraid to ruffle some feathers right there. Prone to thrill, so dumb. Major League Baseball, and it's not even fair. Sonny S. Manfred, piece of metal ad again. It's a fire take right there from Sonny S. A.M. Sanchez, WDGAF era La Land. Hashtag LA. I love that. I mean, yeah, maybe that's a good way to put it. The Dodgers in their WDGAF era. And I think that kind of that does set a tone. I mean, this is not your goody two-shoes Dodgers. I mean, they have a lot of great guys on this team, but on the field, you don't mess with these guys. They're as fiery and as competitive as any team in Major League Baseball. Okay, switching gears. Do you want to do a quick rumor roundup on Walker Buehler? And Buster Olney, who will be on this show Friday at 12 o'clock, ESPN's Buster Olney, good friend of the show. He will be joining us. He mentioned the Giants as a potential suitor for Walker Buehler. So could you imagine Walker Buehler on the San Francisco Giants? Tough to imagine that. It'd be tough to imagine Walker Buehler on the San Francisco Giants. I mean, we saw Jock Peterson there. We've seen other Dodgers kind of end up there. But what Walker Buehler is looking for in a contract right now is different than what the Dodgers probably thought he was going to be looking for during the season or even immediately following the season. The market is better for him now than it was expected to be. But Buster Olney, he tweeted out, Walker Buehler is one of the most established free agent pitchers on the board following his strong postseason. And per sources, his reps are looking for a multi-year deal with opt-outs. Yankees had talked about him before Fried signing, Red Sox, Tigers, Giants, among others. So, Red Sox, Tigers, Giants, Yankees. Who else is in that mix? That's kind of the big question. And would the Dodgers consider multi-years for Walker Buehler? Would they consider multiple years for Buehler, knowing that really they kind of viewed him as maybe a Paxton, maybe a guy that you sign on a one-year contract, a pillow contract, a one-year prove-it-year deal, and then you set yourself up for another nice payday after you see if he can reestablish himself as a really, really solid to good starting pitcher throughout the regular season. We know we did in the postseason, and that was stuff of legend, but teams don't give players multi-year deals for just postseason heroics, right? They want to see production through the regular season too. The truth of the matter is, he had one of the worst regular seasons for any pitcher in Major League Baseball last season, but I will say that was coming off a second Tommy John surgery, and he figured a lot of things out during the postseason. So I still think that whatever team ultimately does sign Walker Buehler, I think he could end up as one of the best value signings in the offseason, not because of what he did in the postseason, but because how he did it in the postseason. It'd be one thing if there was a lot of luck involved, and yes, the BABIP numbers were low. He had a 256 batting average on balls in play against him. League average is 300 or hovers around that. So that points to some luck going in your favor. But I look at, number one thing I look at for Walker Buehler now moving forward, and what we can take away from his performance in the postseason, it's not just the 13 scoreless innings after game 3 of the NLDS. We had that nightmare second inning. It was the fastball and how effective that four-seam fastball looked, how he reestablished that heater. If you look at the fastball during the postseason, 18.5 inches of induced vertical break. You compare that to the regular season, that was at 16.7 inches. So during the peak of his powers, when his fastball was pumping 98, 99, that's where you would see his vertical break, around 18, 19 inches. The velocity isn't the same, but the movement is where it was when he was pitching at his best. And then you look at during the playoffs, he had a 305 weighted on base average against. That was the playoffs against that fastball, against his pitch mix. During the postseason, it was so much better that you could really look at it and say, okay, let's look at what he can do from here on out based on what he's figured out. Because in the regular season, he had a 446 weighted on base average against. 446, that number dropped to 305. Even if you're not a super advanced analytic baseball fan, that's really good. So the point of this is to say that all the underlying stuff that would be future indicators of success point to the fact that if he is able to build on what he did in the postseason, and that goes to next year's regular season, that he could be a very, very good signing. And I think you look at that fastball, he's got to have the command. What I always say, if you want to be the man, you have to have the command. He showed the command again. When he has the command, he can get swing and miss up in the zone. He can freeze hitters with strikes down the zone. That opens things up for the knuckle curve, for his breaking stuff. And maybe you see him be more of a secondary type breaking ball pitcher. The sinker usage was up 10% as well. So I still think he's going to be a really, really good signing for a team. I don't think he'll be back with the Dodgers. I don't think he's going to be back in LA. That's based on what I've heard from insiders. That's based on just the layout of what he's looking for, right? He's looking for a deal where he can opt out after every season. Look at what Frankie Montas got. 2 years, 37 million, something in that range. He's looking for 40, 50, 60 with some opt-outs and things like that. So give him credit. He put himself in a position to get that, but I don't feel that terrible about it just because The Dodgers still have a lot of great starting pitching. I still think that they're in a great spot to pursue Roki Sasaki. Tony Gonsolin's coming back. Dustin May, Bobby Miller. I mean, you're still going to have options. I would love to see him back in Dodger blue, though, just because I think if the Dodgers could get close to whatever he's offered for another team, and they think that he can have the success next season that he had in the postseason. Of course, he's not going to put up those same numbers throughout the course of the entire season, but if he can at least be extremely solid and be a really nice high level 2, 3, things like that, then he probably would opt out and he probably would sign a longer deal. So even if you did sign him to a deal with opt-outs, there would be a chance that it would end up being just a 1-year deal with the Dodgers at the end of the day. And the way I look at it is, look, you followed this team long enough to know that just because you have all these great starting pitchers on your roster at the start of the season, within a couple of days, couple of weeks, you can suffer multiple injuries. And just like that, Walker Buehler could emerge into someone that would be in a position that would want to go out there and throw 150 to 160 innings because he would want to show teams out there that he could still be that guy. But the way I look at it is, look, I remember there was this Subaru commercial. I think there's a Subaru commercial one day. I remember it. And basically it was this guy goes to his high school reunion and he lays eyes on this girl and he looks at the girl and he has these flashbacks to all their memories. They're driving the Subaru and they're going up the coast. They're at the beach. They're at the desert, reliving all these great times. And they pan out and they see that he's with another girl. He's got his wife now. And then they pan out and she's with this guy that he's with now. And then the end is like, you'll always have your first love and that'll never change. That's how I see things with Walker Buehler. There will be no love lost between the Dodgers and Walker Buehler if he's not back. We'll always have the memories. We'll always have 2018 Game 3. We'll always have Game 163. We'll always have 2020 postseason. We'll always have the moments where are you not entertained, where he struck out Alex Verdugo to win the World Series. So there would be some pain. I probably would fall to my knees at a Chipotle for a second, but then I'd be happy for him too, because the most important thing is that he puts himself in a great position to do what he wants, and that's sign that big bag. But let me know down below in the comment section, do you believe Walker Buehler will be back? I'm very surprised. I'll run this back. I asked guys over on the X, ask Dodgers fans, do they think he'll be back in Dodger blue? And right now the poll is holding strong. 37% say yes, and 63% say no. But let's go to you guys down below in the comments. We got Prone to Thrill. I honestly think Walker is more dangerous now. He is more of a complete pitcher, and his compete is elite. That's a fire take from Prone to Thrill. I cannot agree with you more on that one, because you're absolutely right. He said on Mookie's podcast after the World Series, I'm a problem now, because I think that he's truly figured out the mix, right? He is more of a pitcher than a thrower. And sometimes when you lose that velocity, you can reinvent yourself and you enter that next chapter, that next phase. A 199 super chat. By the way, all the super chat money is going to the Roki Sasaki fund. Is it bad? I want a Cody Yankees jersey. LOL. Wow, I don't know how I feel about that. I wouldn't say it's bad, because do you? I mean, the Yankees pinstripes are pretty solid. But yeah, look, you don't want to get back with your ex, right? I mean, just ask Giancarlo Stanton, right? I mean, yeah, I would say kind of no to that one. We get David M. Martinez. When you look at Walker Buehler and Clayton Kershaw, I would take Walker. I know that Kershaw means to the Dodgers, but I think he can't stay healthy at the same time. I think Walker will. That's a really interesting take. That's such a really interesting take, because, I mean, Kersh is going to need a spot in the rotation. Kersh is going to need a contract. But the thing is, like I said, I mean, you go from Dodger for life, all-time great Dodger, to guy that's going to get a statue at Dodger Stadium one day. There's only a handful of guys in the history of this organization that can go by this Kershaw rule. I'm going to call it the Kershaw rule from now on, where it's you're on this team for as long as you want. If you want to continue to play baseball, there's a spot for you on this roster, because of everything you've done for this team and the fact that you're a future first ballot Hall of Famer. And not just that, no one's wearing 22, and you are statue status. Like right now, there's not a guarantee that Mookie's getting a statue, right? And Mookie's going to the Hall of Fame. There's no guarantee right now that even Shohei Ohtani is going to get a statue. They very well could, and I hope they do, because that'll mean that continue to win championships, Hall of Fame, all that great stuff. But I tell you right now, 100% lock, Clayton Kershaw will have a statue at Dodgers Stadium. But coming up next, the Dodgers made some signings, some minor league guys, get you update on that. And we also have random Dodgers that you might have forgotten about that will be getting World Series rings. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
What's up, guys? This is Noel here with Dodgers Nation, and unfortunately, I have a dilemma on my hands right now. You see, a lot of my family members and friends are Dodger fans, and they already have all the World Series merchandise. They got all the shirts, all the jerseys, all the hats, and I really don't know what I'm gonna get them this holiday season.
Don't worry, Noel. Our friends over at Dugout Mugs got you covered.
You know what, J-Rob? I actually have heard of Dugout Mugs here and there on social media, online. Can you tell me a little bit more about the products they have to offer and kind of what they're all about?
So Dugout Mugs is a Major League Baseball licensed product. They have everything from short mugs to tall mugs to even their limited edition metal mug, but they have a lot more as well. They have bottle openers, cutting boards, coasters, anything you need, even ornaments for the Christmas tree are all available at Dugout Mugs. Everything you need is over at Dugout Mugs.
I mean, everything just sounds really good. I'm completely sold right now, J-Rob.
If any of you watching this video right now want to have one of these type of mugs, go to dugoutmugs.com/Dodgers Nation. Use our official affiliate link with Dugout Mugs. Our link will be in the bio and our descriptions, even maybe on this episode of
Turn the season around. You get the really cool, what are they going to say now, Buehler? You got the Gibby Meet Freddie t-shirt. You got a really awesome Mookie shirt over there. You got a Three Sisters shirt. Definitely go get merched up. Fire t-shirts over at gearup.la, and it's give to you guys too. So definitely be on the lookout for that. But here in our second segment, guys, you know, we got to touch on everything. Like I said, you got to know all things Dodger baseball. So you want to know about these guys before spring training starts. You're like, who the heck is that guy? Well, the Dodgers made some minor league contract signings, and we're going to get into that next. And the first one I want to talk about is an infielder by the name of David Bote. So the Dodgers signed infielder David Bote to a minor league contract, and he has spent most of the last couple of seasons with AAA Iowa. He slashed 259, 356, 476 with 37 doubles and 27 home runs, played in 121 games. He did play at the big league level with the Cubs this past season. He appeared in 37 games, and honestly, you look at the production up at the big league level. I mean, he had 304, had a 333 on base, 391 slug, had 4 doubles in 48 plate appearances. So 48 plate appearances. It's not nothing. It's not something, but it's right below kind of, okay, this guy could provide infield depth. Now, he does turn 32 in April, so he's kind of on the older side when it comes to guys at that level. He's played mostly third base. He's played second base in his 6 seasons in the show, off and on, in the AAA level. He's also played first base, shortstop, and left field. So this guy looks and smells like a Dodger as far as his positional versatility. He can play multiple positions in the infield, multiple positions in the outfield, and he had a lot of success against lefties. I mean, he hit 307 against lefties, had a 558 slug against lefties, so that's encouraging. And it's not on the 40-man roster, but it's kind of one of those things where if the Dodgers want to bring up someone so they don't have to DFA someone else, you kind of can position him to do that. So really, he's minor league depth, and that's what you kind of need. You need to stockpile some depth at certain positions. And right now, the Dodgers have 39 players on that 40-man roster. So, I mean, at some point, you're going to have to crunch this roster. You're going to have to take guys off, and at 39 players on that 40-man roster, with still some signings to have, you're going to have to maneuver some things. But right now, that's what he is. I mean, he's a minor league contract guy. Don't expect too much from him, but just think of, okay, someone goes down, another guy goes down, break in case of emergency, then you see David Bote. Now, next I want to talk about a little more upside with this next guy. And we're talking about Matt Sauer. So the Dodgers signed Matt Sauer to a minor league deal. 26, so younger. And headed that season 26, turned 26 in January. He did make his major league debut in 2024. The Royals used their second pick of the Rule 5 draft to pick him up from the Yankees a year ago. So it was a Rule 5 draft pickup from the Royals. In that stint with the Royals, did not have a lot of success. Gave up 14 runs in 16 1/3 innings, posted a 7.71 ERA, allowed 11 walks to just 9 strikeouts. And the Royals, they gave him back to the Yankees before the end of May. So he ended up back with the Yankees. The Yankees sent him down to AAA. He had never actually pitched at the AAA level, and he didn't have very much success there either. He gave up 15 runs in 8 1/3 innings, then was demoted to AA, where he did finish the season, and he did finish the season in AA on an upward trajectory. He ended up going 24 innings in 17 appearances, posted a 2.63 ERA, a 22.3% strikeout rate, and the walk rate was way down. It went down to 3.2%, had a 46.4% ground ball rate. So kind of the good thing about this guy, throws 95, big fastball, slider guy. We know the Dodgers prefer that really as far as their template for pieces that come out of the bullpen. And yeah, he's not going to be someone that's going to make the opening day roster, especially when we consider the fact that he hasn't even proved that he can get it done at the AAA level, nor the major league level at this point. But just like we saw last season, and just like we're going to talk about in a couple minutes here, the Dodgers used 40 pitchers last year. When you use that many pitchers, it's not far-fetched to think that, hey, someone like a Matt Sauer could come up and get an opportunity at some point. So now you look at the non-roster invitees for the Dodgers, and you got 3. You got Giovanni Gallegos, talked about him a couple weeks ago. It's Tony's boy. Then you have David Bodie, the infielder Alfred we just talked about, and now you have Matt Sauer. So that's all we got on the random signings. I think that Matt Sauer is a sneaky one. I'm very curious to see what the Dodgers kind of saw in him, what they think they can do with him. And it just feels like at some point in the middle of the season, they'll be on the road. It'll be a day game against the Reds or something, and he'll go in there and make an appearance, and we'll see if he'll be able to have some success in that one. But coming up next, we are talking random Dodgers that will be getting a ring in 2025. That's coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live. What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here to remind you that if you have not yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Dugout Live podcast. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. So if you want to listen to the show in audio form, when you're driving to Dodger Stadium, when you're driving from Dodger Stadium, when you're commuting to work, wherever it is, you definitely want to lock into the podcast. We're going to start featuring some podcast exclusives, interviews. So definitely, even if you do watch the show daily on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Dugout Live podcast, wherever your podcast. So be sure to do that. It really supports the channel. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live here on a Wednesday edition. Now, coming up, we are going to get into this because a lot of people ask me, hey, D-Mac, does everyone get a World Series ring? Does everyone that participated during the season get a championship ring? The answer is, depends on the team. There's some players that have said they didn't get a World Series ring in the past, but for the most part, yes. If you were a part of the regular season, if you were on the roster, if you went and participated, you are going to be a part of this championship, and you're going to go down to history as a World Series champion. Like I said, the Dodgers used 40 pitchers last season, and they used 22 position players. So 62 players were on the active roster throughout the season. And of course, I think it kind of depends on the player too, right? The player has to see, okay, I mean, I got a ring. I didn't play in the postseason. Does it really count? I think it's kind of how you look at it. I think a lot of players, a ring's a ring, and you feel like, hey, you contributed in some capacity anyway, so you're going to kind of take it. So I think that's where they're at. But we're going to do a high five right now. 5 Dodgers that you might have forgotten that did get a ring that will be celebrating this championship.
The High Five. D-Mac's Top 5.
So, of course, we always have the honorable mentions. I think one, you could say Jason Hayward, just because, look, J-Hay, he had a great season in 2023. Nice, get back on track, resurgent year. And then his last at bat for the Dodgers on July 21st, he gets that big home run. And it was kind of a great send-off. He ends up with the Astros, and that was that. There was Miguel Vargas, too. Miguel Vargas, never forget Miguel Vargas was a part of this World Series run. And also, look, he sacrificed, man. He died for this championship, okay? He went to baseball hell to get the Dodgers, Michael Kopech and Tommy Edman, be a part of that trade. So Miguel Vargas, you're getting that ring. But starting with number 5. Number 5, Connor Brogdon. So if you ever get the trivia question, which Dodgers pitcher that pitched on the 2024 Dodgers pitched the least amount of innings? The answer to that is Connor Brogdon. Connor Brogdon threw exactly 1 inning for the Dodgers in 2024. Miguel Rojas pitched the same amount of innings as Connor Brogdon for this team last season. And you look at how they acquired him. He made 1 appearance. He gave up 2 runs on 2 home runs before going on the IL with plantar fasciitis. He did attempt a rehab assignment in May and August. He did pitch as late as September 21st for the Dodgers AAA team, but they did not activate him again. They never brought him back up. So that was it. He opened the season with the Philadelphia Phillies. He was traded to the Dodgers on April 6th. He made 1 appearance with the Dodgers, and then he was done. So Connor Brogdon coming at number 5 for the most random Dodgers that will be getting a World Series ring. And coming at number 4, I got Nick Ahmed. So Nick Ahmed started the year with the San Francisco Giants. He ended up with the Dodgers after he was cut in July, and he was big. He made 11 for 48. And the big moment for Nick Ahmed was it was a 4-4 game against the Giants, 8th inning, and he gets the go-ahead home run. So what a moment for Nick Ahmed. There it is, 4-4 game against Rogers. He hits a bomb. What a moment. I remember I talked to him after the game, and he was just like, hey, I was just sitting on the couch. Dodgers called me, and I'm here. I'm hitting go-ahead home runs against my old team. So Nick Ahmed, great defender, not as great with the stick. Dodgers World Series champion Nick Ahmed. Then coming in at number 3, I would love to know what this guy is going to do with this ring, because he can't be very excited about hearing the word Dodgers. And that, of course, is Ahmed Rosario. So Ahmed Rosario was traded to the Dodgers for the 2nd consecutive trade deadline. He ends up going 3 for 11 with a walk before the Dodgers needed that roster spot when Mookie Betts was coming back off the IL after that fractured left hand. And Rosario was cut on August 12th. The Cincinnati Reds picked him up, and he was bad with them. He ended up lowering that OPS another 60 points in just 22 games. So Ahmed Rosario coming at number 3, gets traded to the Dodgers, does not have that role. Look, the only prediction I have for next year's trade deadline is Ahmed Rosario is going to be traded to this team. That's what it's going to be. So Ahmed Rosario coming in at number 3. Then number 2, Dinelson Lamet. Dinelson Lamet at one point was an up-and-coming rising star as a pitcher for the San Diego Padres. But did you know that he pitched in 3 games for the Dodgers? Might have forgotten that already. He pitched 3 games for the Dodgers during the first 2 weeks of the season. He even got a save in their 9th game of the year, the Dodgers 5-4 win over the San Francisco Giants on April 3rd. It was the first save of his career. He ended up pitching 1 more time after that, and then he was sent down to AAA. So Dinelson Lamet, pop some champagne. You are a World Series champion with the Los Angeles Dodgers. He should never have to buy a drink in this town ever again. Dinelson Lamet. Then coming in at number 1, there was one guy that was guaranteed a World Series ring heading into the Fall Classic, and that was none other than Taylor Trammell. He appeared in 5 games with the Dodgers and the Yankees, so he was guaranteed a World Series ring. With the Dodgers, he went hitless in all 6 of his ABs, had 3 strikeouts in 6 at-bats, 2 games with the Dodgers. He did enter as a pinch runner, didn't attempt to steal a base, but Taylor Trammell, you're guaranteed a World Series ring, but it's going to be a Dodger blue one. It's going to look a lot better than the Yankees one. You're going to get that Dodgers World Series ring. You did it, my man. You helped get this team to where they ended up, and that is World Series champion. So there you go. I got my random Dodgers that are getting a ring. Other ones, look, I mean, think of Connor Brogdon getting a ring. Eduardo Salazar, Ricky Vanasco, Zach Logue, Dinelson Lamet, Nabil Krismet. I mean, these guys are getting rings. Nick Ramirez, Michael Peterson is getting a ring. Johan Ramirez. Don't mess with the Johan. Who remembers him? So it's great to see all these guys being a part of this team. As far as the position player side, I mean, we kind of hit them all. But, yeah, Kevin Biggio's getting a ring, too. Don't forget that. The apple that kind of fell a little far from the tree. But, yeah, there we go. Now, coming up next, we are going to answer all of your questions on the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
Super chat, $10. Appreciate this, Raymond. Time to let Kersh go. Got to keep Walker. Last comparable pitcher hero to Kersh was Bulldog, and he didn't finish with the Dodgers. Time to retire Kersh. All right. That's certainly a take that you have. And I totally understand what you're saying for sure, but I'm just here to tell you, look, talking to Andrew Friedman, talking to people in this organization, it's one thing to kind of have that opinion. It's the other thing to just tell you what's going to happen. Clayton Kershaw is 100% going to be back, and he's going to be on this team for as long as he's playing. Some guys just are meant to stay in one uniform. Clayton Kershaw is certainly one of those guys. Nando 390. Margot gets a ring for the Dodgers, making him do the team photos. That's true, right? Yeah, got to give Manuel Margot the ring. But look, that's the thing. That's what kind of where the debate comes in. Is, by the way, I have an interview with Manuel Margot that never dropped. Maybe I'll drop it during the next week, as a very deep cut, because I interviewed him and then he was traded. So, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, Don Sutton, for example, he was DFA'd halfway through the 1988 season. Is he considered a World Series champion, right? There's one for that. I mean, Frank Thomas, if you remember Frank Thomas, when the White Sox won in 2005, he was on the IL the whole entire postseason. So there's a difference between, I have a ring, I have a World Series ring, and I did play a role during this run during the regular season, but it's very different. I mean, on the group project, you're kind of getting in late. I mean, the person really didn't do much, but it's still a cool keepsake for sure. So that's kind of the case with that. We got Brian says, all I want for Christmas is to meet D-Mac. Hey, man, talk to Noel. He'll set you up, right? I mean, it's kind of how it works, right? But, yeah, I would love to meet. Only if he sees Noel at Dodger Stadium. Okay, I like that. I respect that. No, honestly, we were in Dallas and we got a chance to meet a lot of you guys. And when the season starts, we'll meet a lot of you guys. We really are due for a big meetup at some bar or something that we got to do, and that's something we should really look into, because I really get asked this all the time, because honestly I love meeting you guys, because your passion for this team, you guys are the best fans of the game, and I love I love all Dodgers fans because they care, man. Like, every single thing they do is about this team. Appointment television, you basically give 7 months of your year dedicating your schedule around this team's games, and we're from the same tribe. That's just the truth with that. So I love meeting you guys, and we're going to set something up. I guarantee that. Brian Guzman, all I want for Christmas is that, okay, Mr. Classic, you can't separate Kershaw and Buehler. Oh, I like that take. That's a fire take. It's a fire take. I like that take right there. I like that take right there, because it's true. I mean, Bew and Kersh. I love when the way Buehler jumped on him, like he was like a 4-year-old jumping on their dad when he comes home from work or something at the parade. Remember that? But yeah, the love and respect. And I think Buehler too, during Mookie's podcast, one thing he said that really stood out to me was when he went to the bullpen and was going to come in for this game. One thing that crossed his mind was, I'm going to do something that 22 would do. And he went to the bullpen because he says that's what 22 would do. So the influence that they have on each other is profound, man. You guys have a lot of respect, so it would be tough to see those two break up. But Cesar. D-Mac, can I get a bruh, please? Man, you can get a bruh. Bruh. You can get a bruh. You can get a double bruh. Bruh. Chris St. Jacques, Kersh getting his rings for every time he was robbed. I like that. I like that. I like that. Give me a comment to show for that. It's a comment to show. Dodger for life. Never forget Kersh doing that. Prone to thrill. Bring Walker back for a year if it were up to me. I mean, that's the move right there. But I think that you have to commit more than just a year now. And a lot of teams will take the potential downside of a second year if the player struggles in the first year. Not so sure the Dodgers want to do that. If it was just a clean 1-year deal, let's not forget the Dodgers did not offer the qualifying offer. They did not extend that QO, that qualifying offer, to Walker Buehler, so he's going to look more attractive to more teams. So I think that did him a favor because teams don't have to forfeit draft picks and give up additional money to get his services. So that definitely helped because I think on a 1-year, $21 million deal, that would make sense for the Dodgers. And I think that there's a chance that Buehler would have picked up on that. Sports cards, report cards, $199. Does Matt Kemp get a ring for a 1-day contract? Man, that's a great question. That's a great question. I'm going to find out, man. And that's a really great question. I'm really going to do some legwork on that. Email some people after the show because I really love that question right there. I honestly think that he should, though. He should. I mean, he came close to getting one in 2018. So we got chat. We got Paul Nene. Buehler will only be back on a 1-year prove-it deal with 5 studs with Sasaki. He wouldn't get a chance for a bag. Kershaw, Gonsolin, and May will occupy the 6th spot. Give him a shot somewhere else. Yeah, that's the big kicker you mentioned right there. Is Roki Sasaki. This organization is going to do everything they can from a presentation standpoint, from a selling standpoint, to prove to him that the Dodgers are a perfect landing spot to start his big league career. And if you get Roki Sasaki, everyone stays healthy, which inevitably that's probably not going to happen, but on an idealistic level you hope for, then you're kind of feeling good about the depth of your rotation. He needs to go somewhere where he can be featured and you're going to really be in a good spot. I said it before, I think for Buehler, it'd be good to see him go to a team like Jack Flaherty did with the Detroit Tigers, has a really strong start to your season, is traded so then teams can offer him the qualifying offer, helps a team throughout the postseason, maybe makes one really good start like Corbin Burns did against the Royals for the Orioles, and then boom, you're set. Yeah, I'll love to see Corbin Burns too back on somehow on the Dodgers too. He's willing to take a shorter term deal. I mean, I don't think at the end of the day he will, but that'd be pretty cool. But let's finish things up with the walk-off. So let's get some walk-off shots right here.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone!
So today for the walk-off, I saw a lot of people talking about Cody Bellinger getting traded to the New York Yankees and the fact that Giancarlo Stanton used to date Cody's wife, Chase Carter. And a lot of people were talking about this, acting like, oh, will this affect clubhouse chemistry? Will this be weird? Will this be awkward? Look, I mean, yes, they have rounded the same bases, right? Yes, there is a lot of things that happen, but why are people making such a big deal of this? I mean, we've seen Giancarlo Stanton. I think Giancarlo Stanton is a dude who's living up in Manhattan in a penthouse apartment that's probably bigger than this huge studio that we're at. And he's probably dated like 50 ladies since Chase Carter. And if you remember, too, back in the day, he was with Chase Carter, and then Giancarlo Stanton liked a bunch of pictures from a UFC fighter, Ariane Celeste. He liked all these pictures, and then they broke up. So, look, I mean, come on now. Sure. Is Belly batting after Stanton in the batting order? Sure. But I don't think that's going to be anything serious. I think, look, we can all be adults here. It's not a bad thing. It's not gonna be an issue with these two. Look, Stanton is doing his thing. Cody Bellinger is back on the Yankees, where, look, he wore Yankees gear when he pretty much was a Yankee growing up, man. His dad won 2 World Series with that team. So, look, I don't think this is a big deal at all. I think people are overblowing this. Look at Kendall Jenner, man. Didn't Kendall Jenner date like half the NBA, right? Look, Noel, I mean, help me on this. I mean, like, think about this.
I think it's kind of like an unspoken rule within professional sports that the reason you see a lot of these guys dating the same girls is because they know how to act. They've been in that spot before. They're not going to be somewhere with a player blowing up, like showing everybody their location, or, you know, they just know how to act around these athletes. And that's why I feel like, you know, people are like, oh, why do NBA players, MLB players date the same 3 girls? It's for a reason. They know how to be around money. They know how to act in the spotlight. They probably hold it down. So yeah, like these, like Belly and Stanton have probably, you know, they've had their pick with whoever they want. I think these guys, they're grown, they're mature. I don't think it's going to be an issue at all. If it was going to be an issue, I think Stanton would have told the front office, like, hey, like, I think me and this guy might scrap or something, but I don't think it's a big deal. And that's why, like, I saw a lot of people posting about it. That's not something I really wanted to post on DN, because it was, you know, it's not, I don't think it's anything that needs to be blown up like that.
It's insane. And people were like, oh, Giancarlo Stanton might make a move on his girl. Look, come on now. All she would have to do is speed walk, maybe. And that's fast enough to get away from Giancarlo Stanton. You saw how slow he was in the World Series. So this is nothing. Guys, let's act like adults here. People out here. I'm going to give a big bruh to everyone that's trying to make something of this. But Antonio, you date a lot of women. I mean, no, I mean, no, I'm just kidding.
I have a lovely girlfriend.
No, I mean, look, couple, I mean, whatever. But I mean, what are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's like whatever. I didn't even know they were going out or they had history, to be honest. I'm just more interested in baseball. You know, Cody's going to be great for the Yankees, I guess. Obviously, they're not going to win the World Series. Maybe not. Probably not.
Yeah.
But I'm just focused on baseball. I really don't care.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a TMZ type of guy anyway.
He said, I'm just focused on baseball.
Yeah, I know, right? No, that's the thing. Like, if you're like Giancarlo Stanton, you should be happy for her. I mean, she ended up with a MVP player, Cody Bellinger, good looking dude. Like, if I broke up with a girl and she ended up with Tony Taters, I'd be happy. Be a big upgrade. Yeah, exactly. It'd be a big upgrade. But I mean, this handsome devil here, a great baseball player. I mean, come on now. It would be a great thing. But let us know down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on that? I think it's overblown. I think it's just kind of silly, man. I really do. We got...
Can you give the fans just like some advice if they were in Giancarlo's and Bellinger's position? Just some dating advice from DMAC. How would you handle that? You know, if you were a baseball player and your team traded for someone that's dating your ex, how would you go about it?
And I would just say, hey, we have the same taste in ladies. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I feel like that's a good thing, right? I mean, hey, you can't feel bad about that. And look, it's all love, man. I wouldn't care in the least, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that people are, anytime you're with the Yankees, the Dodgers, people are going to go to those next levels for stories. And this is kind of more just like an internet thing. That's why we save these kind of stories for the walk-off. So, but we got to, I want to see what Nando has to say. Nando 39 says, Stanton gonna ultimate warrior Bellinger in the clubhouse. What does that even, okay. I don't know what that means. I probably shouldn't have read that. I'll give you a finish him for that one. We got Tony going crazy. That's from Tavon Hayes. Okay, Jader, I'm gonna give you a bruh. I can't read that, but Stan is a good person. Exactly. Stan's a great dude, honestly. Notre Dame High School. Martin Troop. We got DMAC and Antonio. If you guys date the same girl, it would be awkward, right? Give that a bruh. A can of worms here. Cole says, why taking DM advice? Yeah, I'm not the right guy to take dating advice from. I'll give you that. But we got some more down below here, guys. Yeah, Tony and Cody are both significantly younger. Oh, there you go. We got Glad Belly went to the Yankees and not the Trastros. Yeah, that's a good way to put it right there. That would not feel good. Okay, Carmen Alexander said eating the same torta. Gonna give that a bruh for sure. Buehler says Tony Yo probably dated Chase Carter too. Gonna give that a home run, but that's gonna do it. Alex Brennan says Cashman did not do his homework. They're going to be fine. And I think there's a chance you see this Yankees team again in the postseason. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Now, if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. Drop the comments down below. Hit the like button on your way out. It really helps out the channel. We'll be back. We got some interviews coming up. Blake Trinan's going to be on the show. Buster Olney's going to be on the show. Got a jam-packed schedule ahead here on the #1 Dodgers podcast and show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Now, remember, nothing brings us together like Dodger baseball. And until next time,